He wasn't supposed to be here. Not at 17. Not at the Olympics. Not attempting a jump that no human being had ever landed on the biggest stage in the world. But Ilia Malinin, he didn't get the memo. It's February 2026. Beijing's successor venue crackles with tension. 14,000 people are holding their breath. NBC's broadcast is live to 60 million American homes, and a 20-year-old kid from the suburbs of Virginia is lacing up his skates, about to try something that could either make history or end everything. This is the story of the Quad Axel, the most dangerous, technically demanding, statistically impossible jump in all of figure skating, and the teenager who decided, with the whole world watching, that he was going to do it anyway. Let me tell you something you probably don't know. The Axel is already the hardest jump in competitive figure skating. Every other jump, the Lutz, the Salchow, the toe loop, they all launch from the back edge of the blade. But the Axel, it launches from the front. That extra half rotation doesn't just add difficulty, it changes everything. The physics, the timing, the margin for error. A triple axel, which top skaters spend years mastering, requires 3.5 full rotations in less than half a second. It's already at the edge of what the human body can do. Now, multiply that by 4. The quad axel demands 4.5 rotations, 4.5 in mid-air in less than half a second. The angular velocity required is so extreme that even the slightest mistiming, we're talking fractions of a millisecond, means a fall that can be heard from the upper deck. For 50 years, skaters tried. For 50 years, every single one of them failed. Until September 14th, 2022, Salt Lake City, a 17-year-old named Ilia Malinin, who the figure skating world had just started paying attention to, steps onto the ice at the CS Challenger Series, and then he does it. 4.5 rotations, a blade touching down clean. The crowd erupts before he even fully exits the landing. The announcers are screaming. His coach, Nathan Chen, himself a 3-time world champion, is watching from ringside, and you can see it on his face. Even he can't believe what he just saw. In one moment, Ilia Malinin didn't just land a jump, he rewrote the limits of human performance. But here's what the highlight clips don't tell you. Behind that moment was a childhood that most people don't know about. Ilia's parents, Roman Malinin and Tatiana Malina, are both accomplished figure skaters themselves. They understood, almost before Ilia could walk, that their son had something different. Something that coaches talk about in hushed tones. A combination of explosive, fast-twitch muscle fiber, extraordinary air sense, and what psychologists who study elite athletes call the fearlessness gene, a neurological tendency to underweight risk in the presence of a perceived goal. In other words, Ilia Malinin was literally wired to attempt what others couldn't. His training regimen reads more like an Olympic decathlete than a skater. Off-ice jump conditioning, trampoline rotation work, rotational speed drills borrowed from gymnastics. The jump itself had to be approached like a business problem, broken down into physics, into data, into hundreds of micro adjustments made over months. Because here's the brutal truth about elite athletic performance that nobody on social media will tell you. Success at this level isn't inspiration, it's investment. It's thousands of hours of deliberate, structured, financially significant preparation, coaches, rink time, sports science, physical therapy, video analysis. The path to that single quad axel moment represents hundreds of thousands of dollars in training, years of sacrifice, and a mental fortitude that most of us will never be asked to develop. And then, the Olympics. The pressure at the Olympics is categorically different from any other competition on the planet. Athletes who have landed a skill 1,000 times in training come apart. The combination of global scrutiny, years of buildup, and the knowledge that this moment will define how the world sees you forever, it breaks champions. Malinin had been the world's best skater entering the games. The quad axel was his signature, his weapon, the move that no other skater on earth could answer. But skating is also a judged sport, and figure skating politics, the backroom diplomacy, the panel composition, the margins between programs, has historically favored established names. He skated in the final flight, last group. The ice was fast. The crowd was enormous. He set up for the quad axel in the second half of his program, maximum difficulty for maximum base value, knowing full well that a fall here, in this moment, on this ice, in front of this many people, could cost him everything. He went for it. 4.5 rotations. The building held its breath for what felt like an entire second, and then the blade hit. Clean. A slight lean on the exit, a GOE deduction, but the jump was landed. The crowd didn't just cheer, they exploded. The judges' scores came up. They were the highest in the history of the Olympic men's short program. Ilia Malinin didn't just win the gold medal that night. He did something rarer. He changed the ceiling of his sport. He proved in the most public and high-stakes environment on Earth that the impossible jump, the one 50 years of skaters had failed to land, could be done under maximum pressure. There's a moment in the kissing cry, that small bench where skaters sit and wait for their scores, where you can see Ilia's face as the numbers come up. And it's not triumph. It's something more complicated than that. It's the look of someone who has lived with a singular obsession for years, who has organized their entire existence around a specific, terrifying goal, and has just seen it realized. That look doesn't come from talent alone. It comes from choice, repeated, daily, unglamorous choice. In a world that's obsessed with overnight success and viral moments, Ilia Malinin is a case study in what actually produces greatness. The unglamorous stuff, the 2-a-day training sessions, the decision to attempt the impossible jump not in a viral video, but at the Olympics, in front of the world when it mattered most. The quad axel isn't just a sports achievement, it's a blueprint. And if you've been watching this and thinking about your version of the impossible thing, the business risk you haven't taken, the skill you haven't committed to, the goal you've been calling unrealistic, maybe Ilia Malinin just gave you the only question that matters. What are you willing to attempt? If this video made you feel something, hit subscribe. We cover peak human performance stories every week, the psychology, the strategy, and the stories behind the greatest achievements in sports and beyond. Drop a comment below. What's your quad axel? The one impossible thing you're going after. See you in the next one.